What's up, guys? Welcome. Happy Saturday, everyone. How is everyone doing? Welcome to another live stream. It's Saturday, and as always, a little bit later today, at around 12, we go live and we look at the market together. So we're going to pay attention to what are we expecting for next week. And yeah, the year has started quite volatile. Main point or key factor for this week that just passed was, of course, the approval of the ETFs, and we saw the huge volatility in the crypto market. And kind of as a tendency, it's always kind of sell the news when finally it happens, and it's kind of what we have. Most likely just a small retracement, or kind of just a retracement before it gets to a better price, so all the institutions also can start participate in those moves. Of course, that's going to be something that the big hedge funds and so on is going to start planning ahead and to include in their own portfolios. And something that may happen actually is because of the more liquidity that's going to be in place. Maybe all those moves that we tend to see in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on, like those 5-10% moves quite quickly, that actually may stop a little bit, may get a little bit more into another phase. Like we always have been saying that crypto looks like it's still in the early stages, a lot of crazy moves here and there. So it may adjust a little bit more, maybe what I don't know what the indices look like, what FX looks like, and so on. In here, at least the major ones, like talk about crypto, Ethereum, and so on. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting path. Bitcoin reacted from a really good level on the left side, the highs. It was a perfect level. Just fake out those double tops into a really good zone on the left. So if I got this level, there was actually a fresh zone in there, and then the next one it will be around 55. It's basically what we mentioned, faking out this double top. Again, if you actually zoom into there, I'll be able to do it on the MT4. I don't think I have enough data in here to zoom into the lower time frame, but that was the zone in there, right? We can see which this high and that high. None of them actually reacted from the base of this level, in particular this decision point. Those decision points are super important. You usually see price reacting from there, especially when it comes back in the future. So that's always a lovely place to look for a bounce in there. So yeah, that's just a little bit of the level where BTC reacted from, and again, all the volatility before that. In terms of the market, aside from what happened in crypto, like the biggest news was the CPI, which a little bit higher than expected. Both the normal and the core CPI, which may go a little bit against what the market is pricing in. Again, it's always a conversation of what to expect for the moment of the first rate cut, when it's going to happen, how many are going to happen this year, and so on and so forth. Like again, maybe with a little bit of higher inflation. Again, this 1 last percent, maybe from 3.2, 3.3, whatever, until those 2%, those are going to be the hardest ones to recover. Okay, it was easier to go from 7, 6, 5 and go all the way down to this 4-3%. And now we'll see. Again, the inflation in the services sector is quite visible, and it's going to be hard to reduce that one. Yeah, so that was something also that we paid attention to. There was also GDP in the UK, which came out slightly better on a monthly basis in here. However, on a quarterly basis, basically no growth whatsoever comparing the last 3 months. And again, it was the services, the one that helped a little bit more. This positive GDP data in the UK in here. Yeah, that's a little bit of what's going on. Again, commodity side, how the situation in the Middle East and the US and UK striking, getting involved as well in that situation. Who knows what's going to really happen in there. Just looking at what may the news for next week. We're going to have unemployment in the UK, okay, CPI in Canada, CPI also in the UK, the retail sales in the US, okay, unemployment in Australia, unemployment again, as always, it's kind of steady around the 200k, and not really much in here in terms of the macro for the market. And then what we have is actually the beginning of the Q4 earnings season. Okay, yesterday it was the major banks. I haven't really seen the reports if it was better or worse than expected, but then again we are going to getting into this new cycle of earnings, which has been quite volatile and which we changed some of the cycles in the indices for the last quarters. You can actually see the moment that had happened. Next week I think maybe the major one is going to be maybe Tesla, Netflix, and maybe some other. Again, more banks are going to announce as well. And the week after that, I think it's going to start with the other big techs announcing their earnings. Again, the indices with S&P challenging the all-time highs and so on and so forth in there. So we'll see if that's going to happen, if we're going to break new all-time highs, which is again a little bit the expectation. Okay, so basically it was a bullish week after a negative one. The first week of the year it was negative. The second one was quite bullish again after price reached this target, which we mentioned and we talked about last week. It was a valid target for this move down. Price started to move to the upside, and yeah, it was a good move in here. Now finding some resistance again into that level. Yeah, and that's basically what we have. So again, feel free to share with me any key levels that you are looking to trade, anything. Let's have a conversation. Let's look at the levels together. That's the purpose of this live stream. Again, we look at major FX pairs, indices, a little bit of crypto as well, commodities, gold and oil mostly. So yeah, let's get started, and yeah, feel free to comment. All right, so the dollar, right? So this is basically what we the range that we created last week. I haven't done anything on the dollar index, no touch whatsoever. I had this rectangle drawn, and it touched the base, it touched the top, and it touched the base again, and it is stuck within this range, right? While in the other assets we do have some higher moves, more volatility, a bit more of a direction. On the dollar, actually it was being super rangy, and we'll see when the dollar finally starts to move what's going to also be the impact on the other indices. Personally, and the way I was looking at it, I actually had made this a little bit of this prediction. The reason for that is because we actually have two breaks in here, right? So we have this break in here, and we have this break to the downside. One is basically, yep, I want to go higher. The other one, I do want to go lower. Now the difference in here is just the scale that you are looking at. Okay, so one broke this level to the upside. Okay, so it broke that range in there, which may take us a little bit more towards to the next level, maybe somewhere in here, or the test of this level. And the other one broke a little bit more of a smaller range in here. Okay, so that's basically a little bit of what we have is maybe from this high to this low, and it broke kind of this mid range in here, which may take us a little bit more to this side. Wow, the green maybe actually this bigger one. All right, so what may happen, and kind of the prediction that end up making, what I would like to see, and sometimes it does that happen, it will be actually for first the engulf to downside, the yellow one be respected, and then eventually price would follow and respect the green one. Like in this way, both of them would be respected in here, and eventually price will just follow its own path. At this point, because price has respected so many times now the up and down of this range, yeah, but again, everything is possible in this particular situation. I still like the idea of looking at the dollar maybe moving first to the downside. Again, doesn't really need to go all the way to the extreme in here, even though I do like at this level. Maybe can just even pause somewhere around this level in here, and maybe push higher after that. We started to accumulate quite a little bit of liquidity underneath this level. We had a little bit of liquidity above this level, which price kind of collected in here and retest once again. So we'll see what may happen. Also, you can definitely zoom out a little bit to have a little bit of a better idea. Maybe in the bigger picture can help us to understand what will be the direction that will anticipate in here. Again, as I mentioned, we do have this above bottom now created. It's a good reaction on the left side, but I wouldn't mind at all also to potentially see this, right? So even if we start breaking in here, instead of respecting straight away this engulf, maybe we could even first fake out this above this low and then make the move like that. Again, these are just a few scenarios which is important to make, so we are aware of if price starts to move in one direction or doing something in there, you are already with a few ideas of what to do next, right? That's always the best approach to have, is to have a plan and define 2-3 different scenarios, maybe allocate different types of different probabilities or odds in those scenarios, but at least you are aware of it and you don't get caught by surprise in here. Second part is, if by any chance, if this is not the type of market that you like to trade, this ranging market, maybe on intraday for sure there may be opportunities in here. For example, this one was a good one. Okay, this opportunity in here after price kind of broke a little bit of this trend line, looking for price to get a bit closer in here. This could have been a great sell, for example. After price respected this level, start break this level in here, maybe another long in here. So again, intraday for sure you do have opportunities even within a ranging market like this. However, bigger picture, if this is not something that you want to be involved, yeah, just skip it altogether. That would be kind of another advice. Again, there are many markets, many assets to trade from, and you need to do your own selection and to trade only where you see that your strategy and your strength lies on. Okay, so that's important. Again, that's always actually a good question when wondering, when someone says, or a trader says that he's only trading one specific asset. For example, many people just trade euro dollar or pound dollar, for example. And if that's a little bit of the negative side of just trading one asset, is if by any chance that asset, and the euro dollar, it was quite similar to dollar index in here, if that specific asset that you trade, and that's the only asset that you trade, if it gets stuck within this a range like this for a full week, maybe, and if this is not exactly at your benefit, imagine that you are a trend continuation trader in here, right? Good luck with looking for trades in like that. But yes, if that's the only thing that you trade for this week, most likely you didn't really manage to perform as good as you probably would have done if you have brought a little bit more your portfolio and actually have at least a few more other pairs that you follow. You don't need to trade actively, but at least you follow and you wait for, you are aware of maybe when price is about to create a good opportunity based on your own strategy. So yeah, that will be just something to consider and think about, especially if you're just trading on one asset alone. In here, of course, each one's going to have their own characteristics. You can then study it a little bit more, spend time with it, analyze it, try to see kind of what kind of moves, when do they move, what sessions, and so on. But yeah, and it's just something to think about. So dollar index, again, there's no change in here, nothing really much to add. We can actually continue and go into the next ones. All right, so I'm still enjoying my coffee. S&P. Okay, so S&P is getting really closer, as we mentioned, to the all-time highs. Okay, and there's been the only of these major indices that hasn't really managed to break all-time highs from the beginning of 2022. Now, it's still respecting that zone that we talked about. Okay, it's still in there, hasn't really managed to break that particular important level that that price has been respecting. Even though we managed to fake out this most recent high and we created a new high for the year, it hasn't really managed to break the overall zone. And there was actually a good or short opportunity. Okay, again, unfortunately in here, as I mentioned 1 week ago, when we had this move to the upside, price didn't manage to break the high immediately. Like I think I actually mentioned that part, that if price had actually broken slightly these highs, I would have turned back a bullish way quicker. okay, in here. The price never really managed to break it in that moment. Respected it, it went down, respected the demand once again, and then it started to create this middle range in here, right? And this is maybe where what we need to start paying attention to. If we count a little bit more into this demand zone, and then eventually start breaking to the upside, so we could eventually start turning upwards again. We need always to pay attention to where price actually is reacting on the left side, and as we described last week, it reacted perfectly from the target. Therefore, we can actually start looking for longs. Now it's about looking for that confirmation. We did manage to break slightly this high, but it went straight away to the target to fill this level. Therefore, I'm looking a bit more for confirmation in this particular case to completely turn bullish, and this was the high that I wanted to see being taken. So yeah, that was a little bit of a situation in here that didn't really help in terms of looking for the longs at the lows. Opposite story is actually what happened afterwards, sorry, is that we do have this compression. We had the spike above that high, perfect, exactly what you're looking for, and then we start having the break of this level, the break of this low, and a great opportunity to fill the range. Okay, immediately the range that you're looking for is this one in here, in particular, at least until the end of this compression towards this level, which maybe price can already start reacting somewhere in here. Okay, at this demand zone, price can already react from it. Again, when you do have this extreme, doesn't really mean that price needs to come all the way to touch this line. Okay, there's maybe some demand zone in here that maybe price can react from, and that's enough, that's target, and that's where we're going to be looking for. But this was really good, and we anticipated that one. Similar on the NASDAQ actually still managed to slightly fake out that level. NASDAQ reacted from a perfect level as well, something that we talked about. Again, we had a little bit of a structure in there, as we'll see. Then we have the supply just above it, and which we fake out the structure to move down. So that was perfect as well. And this is exactly what we look for. And then what happened, right? What happened is that price actually broke this low, opened the door to go now further down, and there you go. Then retraced and moved down. And that's basically what we had in here. This was with the CPI data. Yeah, now it's just retested all the way towards to the other side of the compression, which is basically this level in here. That's it. Target bridge in the bigger picture. Anticipating price to break this low. Maybe if that happens, then we can start looking a bit further down. Before that, there's no really reason for that. What we actually had in here, it was actually quite funny, because I had this rectangle drawn. And yeah, we had this supply level. Maybe you can cover a bit of this week. And you can see that basically price missed that level 2 times. Right? Neither in here, neither in there. Price actually touched the level. Price just paused maybe somewhere around this structure in here. Yeah, so it was left behind, and yeah, interesting enough, our price still goes there and goes collect those orders now in here, right? It's incredible. Nice fake out now towards this level, and yeah, perfect. Something interesting is actually we do have this level, so this is something to pay attention to. So we create this range, or kind of, if you want, you can still consider that one. Okay, and price breaking below this level before actually then reaching the extreme, that's a really good engulf down before price actually. What I want to say is basically by having this moving here is actually increases the likelihood or the odds for price then to be respected at the highs. Okay, having this move increases the likelihood for price actually to respect again either in here or at least this level in here. So that's the approach, that's the type of price action and the approach that you want to try to look for when you are trying to trade, for example, double tops or double bottoms, and you just need to reverse whatever we are working in here. So that's something to pay attention to. Yeah, so that gun respected in that level, and then kind of we are here. So bigger picture again, maybe expecting price to eventually break the highs. That's still that pressure. So until we actually do that, it's going to be always tricky to look for the big reversal. Again, this level respected perfectly. This low. Eventually, if price does want to continue to move slightly lower, and maybe you can have already a little bit of this trend line, that if price by any chance breaks it, maybe we can range again and trade and go all the way back to these lows. So that's totally possible as well. Like, I'm going to be open-minded in terms of the S&P. I could start turning a bit more bearish if we still didn't have these highs to maybe to fake out, right? The all-time highs in there to be taken. It's nice that price is starting to again accumulate a lot of highs in here, which eventually can force that fast push upwards before maybe a turn. We will see. Okay, again, something that I like is that price respected this level, so I'm not really turning 100% bearish in here. Okay, so yeah, something to look at for next week. NASDAQ again quite similar, respected perfectly that range in here in the middle, and since then it's been quite bullish. NASDAQ, it was quite similar to the S&P, where it didn't really manage to break that high. I would have turned much more bullish would have turned bullish a bit earlier if I had seen that actually high breaking this structure. Again, I think in some servers actually this high had already managed to break this level, but in here again we kind of need to trust whatever you are looking at. So yeah, no breaking there until eventually kind of returned, and that's the level that you are talking about, right? So again, the beginning of the compression is in here, so that's basically the first range, and you start looking for price to move upwards to, then starts breaking a little bit this highs, and now we are getting into this bigger range that you have in here in red. And this was the so the supply that was left behind without price touching it. Okay, so we have this highs, this structure, price which we left that zone behind, and that's a really good target to look for. Now there was maybe some still fresh order somewhere in here, and price actually bounced nicely from that level. It respected just the next zone, and meanwhile price has been moving upwards with a perfect reaction from there. Again, this is all-time highs. We can actually try to see within this structure if there's anything in here that would make it a bit interesting. If price by any chance wants to go higher than that. Okay, so this supply was actually literally still fresh. Price has reacted from the base of this level, leaving a little bit of this level fresh. So that's another one. Aside from that, everything in here looks like it's been fresh. This one in here maybe has been taken, and then at the maximum is the extreme of the extreme, which is in here. Okay, so that would be the extreme of the extreme that may be still fresh. If prices want to go higher, maybe we could go all the way, basically filling all this in here, almost marked as compressed. Again, maybe there's a little bit of a fresh zone in there that price can still react from, maybe in here, but aside from that, nothing really much. The most clear one was definitely where price has been reacting right now, and then the extreme in here. So again, if you do break above that level, almost expecting price to go all the way back to that to those highs from the beginning of the year. So are we expecting price to go further down? Again, we did manage actually to break slightly this level, direct from there, kind of had that move as well, kind of range breakdown, fake out, and now kind of within this range. The only situations which with the all-time highs, right? And there's always a risk for price to create one last all-time high, especially when we're starting to accumulate so much liquidity in here with these weeks, which can be faked out easily one more time before moving down again. On 4 hour time frame, that level was really good to look for. So yeah, we need to be waiting and see what may happen in there. Dow respecting the highs in here, and we continue to be trading within this range. Within this range in general, so we'll see what's going to happen. I don't like the idea of price moving down. Again, we have so many highs now created at a high in there that can again be faked out before the move down. So yeah, so let's see again what's going to happen with the earnings. It's going to be an interesting catalyst for the next maybe for the next quarter. Again, the last earnings season, it was in October. Okay, so basically it was during all this period that we had a little bit of movement, and in the last week of the earnings, actually we had this turn, which was kind of at the end of October, and then we had actually the non-farm, actually the FOMC, one of the FOMC meetings on the 1st, and then we kind of literally turn around, which is going to be exactly the same thing. We're going to have the earnings seasons throughout the month of January, and then we're going to have the FOMC meeting on the 31st of January. So we'll see what kind of catalyst and what kind of movement on direction price actually is going to move towards too. But do expect some volatility in here. And then we have DAX. DAX just continues also trading in between this range. Okay, now we created that 1, 2, 3 tops in here, then kind of literally just to fake out, kind of expected, reacted from that demand zone, and we are within this range. Now this level in here may be seen as a negative down, perhaps from this structure, even though kind of it reacted literally close to this extreme of the previous all-time highs. So it can always be a good continuation to the upside. In terms of the highs in here, if price by any chance does want to, again, maybe from here there's another sell opportunity. Okay, prices go higher, there's maybe a sell opportunity to look for this level now that you fake out this range. On the other side, if prices want to go slightly higher, is there anything in here that price can still hold? Is there any structure in here that can hold price? That's question mark in here. So we'll see what's going to happen at around this level on the DAX. Looking at the indices, FX indices, okay, in this particular case the Euro index, nothing really has changed in alignment with the dollar index. We are still within this range. Again, my favorite scenario to still be to see this Euro index to fake out this double O and maybe getting a little bit more closer to this level before any kind of turn. The same way that we can maybe respect this structure in here and move lower. If you start breaking above this level one more time, okay, then anticipation it will be to go a bit more closer to the upside in there. Okay, but until until this level keeps respecting price, we may just continue to move forward again. Once again, maybe price will just go down, respect one more time this level, and go slightly higher. In general, that's kind of what we're looking for. I would actually like to see this bubble being taken, and then we'll see after that if this level actually respects or price will just start to move to the downside. Again, bigger picture, we've been there already. It's reacting from a really good level. Again, it created a double top, which in the even bigger picture, price may eventually fake out. Okay, getting a bit more maybe closer to something in here, so that's totally possible. But in over time frame, I would definitely like to see at least price respecting this level or get a little bit more further down before aiming to go higher again in here. So that's what I'll be just paying attention to on the Euro index. And then the Yen index, this is a bit better, so it was provided a bit more better opportunities for the Yen pairs this week. So we had that correction in here, so this was a really good level to look for a short. Again, the break of the trend line reacted from that level that broke this low, and then we're looking for price to reach something around this structure, and the PA to turn was quite good in here. Okay, again, it moved in the same direction for a few days, and then we had this beautiful turn happening in here. Again, the price spiking up, faking out, reacting from these extremes one more time, which provide good levels to trade from. And the reaction was quite good below all these lows into that demand zone in here. Okay, so that's basically what we had. Now, is this the last low? Is this the final zone in here, and price and the index is ready to start moving upwards? Not really sure. I think there's maybe a little bit more room to the downside, but in the bigger picture, okay, in the bigger picture, this is actually kind of what we start having in here, kind of these left shoulders, that level as well, that was the extreme from here. And yeah, it just makes sense that price would eventually come back and react from here. Okay, so basically that's the range that we had, this range to downside, and price went upwards, and again, this is the upper edge of this bigger range in here that created these lows. If we start breaking into this level, then we start looking for maybe for price to get a bit closer to here, or all of a sudden we can even aim to get closer to the other side of the extreme of this range, which is at the lows in there. So yes, for now this is the level that we have. We continue to break new lows. Okay, so that's a fact. We have that one, we have this one, we have this one, so that continues to happen like that. So we'll see what may happen in here. Looking a bit more into the lower time frame, if you want to look for it, maybe something in here can happen quite nicely. Or yeah, this one may have been already reacted from these lows. This one, yeah, here basically reacted from. Yeah, not the biggest fan of maybe anything in particular in here. Maybe we can fake out this high a little bit. Yeah, but this level in here looks like that's maybe still fresh, and maybe price could end up reacting from and maybe continue to move down after that. Why not? Can be an interesting level to look for, which is actually in alignment with this the low as well. So it starts to become kind of an interesting level to look for in here. Right. All right. Yeah, VIX continues to be quite low at this point. Aim to go slightly higher, basically just fill this range and retesting the lows once again. And yeah, the odds also directing from that level. Did manage to break this trend line. There's maybe a little bit more room to the downside before actually turning, and we'll see and what can actually happen in there. Yeah, that's a little bit off the range, and we do have that structure in here to maybe pay attention to. All right. Okay, let's take a look at the individual currency pairs now, and what can we expect from next week. Euro dollar. So as we mentioned, it's just in a range, nothing really happening in here. Okay, double top being created in there. This range again can go slightly higher. I wouldn't mind that at all. Towards there again, if by any chance I do anticipate, or kind of if that scenario that I described on the dollar index of seeing price going down before maybe moving upwards, then basically the opposite on the euro. Okay, so that will mean basically the euro to go higher, which can be just a small fake out into here. Okay, which means that dollar index also would be just a small fake out below the lows before maybe moving, or maybe a little bit higher, maybe towards that level, filling this range in here. Okay, going above this height. So that will be one scenario. Again, the same story. This one in here looks like, in my opinion, kind of an engulf downwards, which then eventual price can go closer to this level. That's the way I'm reading it. Even though on the euro dollar I kind of like a little bit more where actually this high is reacted from, comparing with the low on the dollar index, but we did manage to break also above this range, right? So we do have the same basically circles created in the same moment, which was during the NFP more than 1 week ago at this point. So this is what we have on the euro dollar, not really moving that much. And as I described just before, if this is the only thing that you have traded, euro dollar, yeah, maybe on the openings, maybe you did find some trades. Again, if you super zoomed in here, maybe you can find some opportunities. Personally, I'm actually trying to move a little bit more away from kind of this ranging. I'm looking for more high probability setups, which shows, again, it's a little bit different, which we may talk about kind of in the future about exactly the type of setups that I'm looking for and that I want to trade this year. All right, so yeah, not really much to talk about in there. Pound dollar getting better. It was ranging, but slightly moving to the upside. We do have this trend line going on. And what I was looking for, it was for price to get a bit more closer to here. Okay, so when price was still respecting these highs, I think I mentioned that maybe last week, I wanted to see how price would react a bit more closer to here, which can provide, again, it's already respecting it and starting to push price lower. Now the question is, kind of the thing is that it hasn't really managed to break any lows yet. Okay, so every single low when price is moving down is being respected, and price just keeps pushing upwards, making it a really interesting compression level. Now, if you actually pay attention on the pound, there was literally this level in here. Okay, so again, similar to the NASDAQ, where there was maybe that supply level, and above that, a lot of it is being compressed without really anything left behind. It's a bit similar to on the pound. Okay, so the way price has been moving down in here, price has basically respected every single supply level. Maybe there's a little bit of a fresh level in here. Basically this one has been respected. Then you have the fake out. Then you have the KM playing out, which maybe has left this one behind. Then you have this supply, which basically has been reacted from. And then you had this level, which was still fresh because price never really reacted from it. And you have all these triple top on this 5 minutes time frame. And then you actually then have the confirmation with another high that is visible in the higher time frame, which works really nicely to fake out, and then you have all these highs which work even better to fake out in the future. So that's the level that we have in here on the pound. Okay, and where price has been reacted so far is actually price fake out slightly this level. It hasn't maybe really touched this move in here, therefore there's maybe a little bit, again, can go slightly higher in there. Yeah, so we'll see, because again, above that we do have maybe the extreme in here. Yeah, at least on this time frame, basically everything has been reacted from, so no surprise if by any chance, if prices want to go above it, it just goes slightly higher and maybe get a bit more close to the extreme, or it will just break through it and just continue to go higher from here, which can definitely still happen. Again, maybe you have this level, this on 4 hour time frame. Let's just see where that plays out on the hour time frame. Yeah, it plays out in here again. Yeah, that's still kind of fresh in this particular case, because price actually just respected the base of that level. Yeah, but we'll see how price may react. Now, in terms of the approach, and it's something that we want to look at. So what happened on the pound? Price managed to slightly break that level, never really managed to break this low in here, so it kind of still respected it. And what I mentioned is that I would have turned so much more bearish if this low actually had done something like this and literally had broken this level. I'll be much more interested in selling at the highs 100%, to then feel all this level. But because actually this level kind of still respected this low, I'm still waiting and seeing. Okay, so then we are respecting every single low. We did move to downside yesterday. Price just respected one more time kind of this level, still managed to slightly break a bit new highs, again respected the demand zone one more time, and this is what we have on the pound. Again, it's so tricky. Again, if you want to trade, if you want to be trading all these moves up and down, again, 100% you can on the hour time frame. You can maybe find those opportunities, those spikes, those reaction from the demand, the turns, 100%. I'm literally just waiting for everything in here to get so exhausted, and then eventually to find a signal that is going to give me the final break to the opposite side, and then fill this range in a single move. And it can happen quite quickly, right? Because every single demand has been taken so far. So yeah, I'm waiting for a little bit more of a clear move, but then just fill this range quick. Yeah, that's kind of the opportunity more that I'm waiting for. It just requires more patience in this case, until price actually gets to an interesting level. Bigger picture, this is where it's a bit tricky, because yeah, price is reacting from a okay level in the world. It was a fresh level to anticipate some reaction from, but it may not be the final zone to actually look for this. Okay, price may actually want to go slightly higher, maybe getting even closer to this range, or kind of somewhere in there, before we actually have a final turn on the pound. Okay, so that's just something to bear in mind in terms of actually then looking for that sell from here, just because we are not really at the extreme, still at the highs. There's maybe more room to go higher. Again, this was a good level to expect some reaction. We had the reaction, it was a good reaction, but we may still want to go higher before moving down in here. So that's just something to bear in mind on the pound. Something else that we can start paying attention to is actually the euro pound as a clue as well, which starts to create this strong compression to the downside, and is getting closer to this level. Okay, so we anticipated the move upwards. That's done, that's played out. Feel the compression. Still have this level behind, which eventually can go there, and basically this is where we are at this point, right? Basically trading between this range in here, with the possibility again to still maybe go slightly lower into this level. Okay, so that still matters and it's worth to pay attention to. Looking in here, and there is a chance that price can go, and I'm looking for price to actually go a little bit more below this low, getting into this level. Maybe from here we can go higher, or maybe you can fake out actually all these lows before actually making that attempt. Again, just a simple trend line. This was something that we were tracking as well. Okay, this high, which managed to hold price. So again, no engulf upwards. And again, it's important to have your own rules. For example, on the NASDAQ and S&P, as we mentioned at the beginning of the week, it didn't, like, not breaking the highs. It kind of didn't really allow us to look for those longs straight away at the lows. But more often than not, actually, that extra confirmation may save us from some losing trades, which is kind of what would happen in here. Like if we want to still look for longs after we kind of see this upward move from here, again, that will be a kind of a losing trade at this point. Then we have also the trend lines that can help a little bit as well to see when are they broken or not. And meanwhile, price is just moving downwards, and yeah, I'm curious to see how price may react below this low. Again, if this turns to the upside, maybe we are going to have that move to the downside on the pound dollar. That's something to bear in mind as well in here. So let's see and take a look at this correlation that we have between the euro pound and the pound dollar in here. Then we go into the Aussie dollar, which again, the last week hasn't really been the greatest. Again, mostly, as you can see, the dollar is affecting all these major FX pairs, keeping them within this range, this weird range that we are at this point. Again, great trade, great level to look for a trade, perfect. And that's, again, if I was about to describe exactly the type of opportunities that I'm looking for, those are the ones. Okay, literally at the extreme, full compression, price starting to turn. We have the clear PI around here, and you sell it. You sell all the way through, and you sell as much as you can until price kind of gets this level. Now we are a bit more in the middle of the range. The type of opportunities and the targets that we have, they need to be a bit more conservative, maybe in and out quicker, instead of just keeping holding it. This is where price can easily manipulate a bit everyone, fake out slightly high, then go down, fake out maybe a low, then go up until maybe price resumes the move into one direction. Again, bigger picture, this may look like kind of an engulf down, which means that maybe price does want to continue to move there. We just need to trade it properly and accordingly. Okay, in terms of the targets that you're looking for and the opportunities that you aim in here. Again, lower time frame, for sure, you do have some opportunities that you could have tried to look for. Yeah, so again, if you do like ranging markets and if you kind of just buy the lows, sell the tops, you maybe have made a little bit of money in here. Yeah, again, this is not exactly the opportunities that I'm going to be spending my time looking at. Okay, and you either can spend a lot of energy and capital trying to trade this, or you can actually be slightly more patient and actually then try to catch the bigger moves in here, which then in the bigger picture, this looks like just a small zone comparison actually when you actually trade the extremes in there. It's again, whatever you decide, we just have enough energy on a day and time to allocate. Same thing with money, so you pick and choose where do you want to spend your energy and efforts and the type of setups that you look for. So That was Aussie dollar. Euro Aussie reached a target, the initial target for this move upwards. Okay, after the break to the upside. Get bigger picture. I may still look for price maybe to go down, but we did have all this compression. In particular, this was one of the last supplies that was still fresh, which is in alignment to this previous level support resistance. Okay, so and price reacted from it quite nicely. Again, compressed in here, and we'll see now if price by any chance resumes the move to the downside, or is going to by any chance just continue to move upwards. We can definitely maybe go below this compression. Maybe I've already broken in here to maybe fill this level in here, and maybe push towards this demand zone, which can maybe still work to the upside. Okay, so that's just something to bear in mind. This was a really good reaction from that level, and it kind of keeps open the possibilities for both scenarios. Yeah, either kind of go up from here or kind of still respect it and start challenging a bit more the lows, and then we'll see how price may react from here. Again, bigger picture, maybe price wants to still go slightly lower in there. But good reaction. That was a good reaction in there. Again, I see it as a much better opportunity to trade this level, again, comparing with just something in the middle. Even though bigger picture, it still looks like it's in the middle. Aussie yen just continues to move slightly higher. Again, bigger picture, that's definitely what you're looking for, as I mentioned, for price to get maybe closer to that level in there before looking for the big turn. Again, intraday, for sure you can look for it. What I mentioned before, okay, what I mentioned before in regards to just looking at one asset, as many traders do, maybe just euro dollar, pound dollar, whatever, or just trading NASDAQ, for example. Yeah, that's maybe where you can spend 80% of your time, 85-90% of your time, and that's intraday. That's what you want to be trading. But if you do find something interesting on the bigger picture that you may just want to follow, for example, this Aussie yen, I cannot really trading Aussie yen that for a few weeks now, maybe months. Just literally waiting, and you can have a clear idea of a high probability level that you want to look for in the bigger picture, and you can just set up some alerts in that level and just wait for price eventually to get there. And when it gets there, maybe do have a good trade to look for. And that's maybe the only trade again that you're going to take for another month on the Aussie yen in this particular trade. Okay, you can have those assets that you look more for, or that you are more active on the intraday, but I don't think things may be beneficial of the energy that you may spend to eventually catch these really good high probability setups in a higher time frame. Again, they can be traded in the lower time frame, but in alignment with the higher time frame perspective, it can be quite advantage, and it's maybe something that you can take advantage of and to add into your own playbook of trades that can help you to get an extra, I don't know, X percentage in your account on a monthly basis, yearly, and so on. Right, it's something to bear in mind. I'm going to give another example in a bit with the pound CAD, which may be approaching a really interesting level to look for a short. Okay, and it's quite obvious. It's literally a clean level that may be still fresh. You look the approach, you literally see how the exhaustion price literally getting weaker and weaker and weaker, start showing signs of reversal, and there you go. Eventually, it's going to go down, and you catch this move. You catch the move to the downside, or the opposite again, or you catch the move to the upside. It doesn't really matter which one is it. But yeah, just something to bear in mind. Again, Aussie, that's kind of what we have. Dollar yen, it continues to move upwards, looking maybe for price to get a little bit higher. Again, this is a tricky situation with the way price moved down. Not the biggest fun. There was a really good opportunity to look for a long in here. Okay, around this level, there's a really good price turn in here. Price broke that level. It's reacting from the demand zone in there. So that was a really good opportunity to look for a trade. That's clear, yeah, that we look for. Okay, so we have the break to the upside, and if we cut this level into this fresh demand zone, that's perfect scenario, perfect trade in there. Meanwhile, price is moving upwards, and we'll see now what's going to happen in here, and we are back a bit more into this range in here. Price respect to this fresh supply level, maybe eventually could go slightly higher. Yeah, So again, can maybe go also towards this demand zone one more time before maybe resuming the move upwards. We do have also this level in here to pay attention to, and then you have the extreme of the extreme more closer to this lows in here to look for another potential move upwards in here. So that's basically 3 levels that I'm looking for on the Aussie yen, sorry, in the dollar yen, that can help price pushing higher. Then you have this euro yen. The euro yen, it was quite good. So we had the break to the upside in here, good reaction, price turned, moved upwards, and then it filled the compression. Okay, so it filled this initial compression in here, this initial range. Again, bigger picture, this is maybe more of the levels that eventually price may want to go towards to, at least maybe somewhere closer to this level. But now we have an engulf upwards from this high, and that's usually kind of a good level to start looking for some kind of reaction, at least, or retracement to the downside, maybe before price resume the move upwards. It was also an element to this previous demand that price should have respected like this. It didn't, so now it's a good level to look for a short. And then you have the PA. Okay, the PA was really good. We have this range, again, the break below it, the fake out, and again, the reaction from one or either this level and then kind of the other side from here. It's a really good PA in pricing here, and maybe can have this range to look for a target, to maybe to see if it's going to be filled somewhere towards there. Okay, so that's maybe something to bear in mind. Again, this was maybe a good short. The way price has been moving, it's already compressing a lot, which eventually when you do turn, maybe can help to continue to look for longs. Again, this zone, it broke to the upside comparing with that compression, so it's still visible as an engulf upwards overall, which can be in alignment with that yen index still moving lower. But maybe before that, may wants to go a little bit lower, or can even fake out these lows in here into this demand zone, which can also be a great level to look for that continuation to the upside in there. Okay, so you may have this level in here, or maybe have that level. Can be quite interesting to look for. I'm not sure why on 50 minutes I have that gap of data in there. Whatever. And then pound yen, also we start having a little bit of a break in here. Price continue to move upwards, which is actually kind of what you're looking for. And let's see if actually if the level that price may wants to go towards to is not a little bit higher. Maybe it is, again, a little bit of that pattern. Let's just see how price may react now from here, or a bit more from that level in there. We did manage to break this low, so that's just something to bear in mind. Maybe price will not respect this level anymore, and maybe just going to go towards to the next one in here. But in general, I'm still maybe expecting this pound yen to go a bit higher before maybe a major turn, kind of maybe before price getting closer to these levels in here. Hey, did see? Yeah, I will check Bitcoin. And what is your take on Bitcoin? Sorry, man, I was not looking at the comments. Chum TV, hi, man, welcome. Yeah, pound yen. Yeah, it's kind of a bit of what I'm looking for. Maybe a bit more retracement, then continuation to the upside. In there, then continuing to dollar CAD. Dollar CAD has been a bit in the range as well. Maybe price does want to continue to go slightly higher, manage to break this trend line. Again, the reaction from the lows, we have been looking for that for a long time, so no surprise that price now is moving upwards, and maybe price wants to go a little bit more closer to this level in here before making a move. I like the compression, I like the kind of the move in here, starts to show some weakness. It's just maybe being a bit more patient until price maybe gets closer a bit more towards one of these two zones before making a move. Before that, we haven't really managed to break a proper low. Okay, it definitely broke in here, but this was already an engulf upwards as well first, which maybe show that indication. And we finally start breaking some lows in here, which starts opening a little bit more the door. Now we can first maybe go towards that level before maybe making another move towards here. Okay, so that's maybe a pair as well to pay attention to for next week. Yeah, maybe a potential short one of these kind of levels, maybe for here, and then maybe from here you can continue to look for those longs, and maybe can just take out this range below it, and yeah, continue from from there. So that can be something to pay attention to in here. Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, it seems like you're going down a little bit, like saving the news until maybe price, until maybe we resume the move to the upside on BTC. Have a great weekend, man, as well. Yeah, so that's a little bit of dollar CAD just to pay attention to. Euro CAD. Again, what is all this about? Fully compressed again. Price may go higher. I would definitely like to see price eventually breaking these lows. I'm not going to be involved in this type of trades in here. It's this weird, strange, weird beginning of the year in some of these currency pairs. Again, intraday, maybe can look for some trades. Again, I'm not involved in this type of PA. I'm waiting for price to eventually move a little bit away from here, either at this point, either to the upside or downside. I don't really care. I'm just going to be waiting for price to get more closer to one or the other in there. Pound CAD, yeah, let's take a look at Pound CAD because that's the one that may be providing a potential good selling opportunity. Okay, so we did reacted nicely from that extreme, and this is kind of the one that I'll be paying attention to. We have this initial range, which I'm expecting eventual price to fake out and getting into this level. And from there, there's maybe a great opportunity to look for a sell. Now, we did respect it perfectly this month zone, so this was already kind of a good level to look for a long. Again, we had the confirmation, the retest. That was a good one. And now I'm looking for price to get closer, a bit closer maybe to fake out this level. Now, it can hold a little bit. Yeah, can maybe create a little bit more of liquidity, but then eventually getting close to this level, and you may have, again, this is one of the opportunities that I'll be looking for. I have already the alerts. This one doesn't really matter. I want to see price actually going a little bit higher than that. So yeah, set up your alerts, be aware of it, which can then go in alignment with the potential sell on the pound dollar if that's actually something that we want to see. Like this pound pair has actually been compressed quite a lot to the upside, which eventually can have a correction in here, which means maybe pound dollar could do that, euro pound could do the opposite to the upside. And yeah, those are just a few to pay attention to. Again, reacted, this is definitely a fresh demand zone, but overall bigger picture, maybe you're looking at this range, so maybe you can even, yeah, you can go maybe down, then maybe retest all the way towards these walls one more time. So yeah, pound CAD 100%, something to pay attention as price continues to be challenging, continues to go upwards. It's a really strong compression, and yeah, be definitely looking for to trade it. And when you do have this kind of compressions, something to pay attention to is maybe some catalyst. Maybe there's going to be a catalyst that's going to make that strong push, in this case to downside, since we have this compression to the upside. Okay, again, in terms of news, we're going to have unemployment claims. Not really sure if that's such a big catalyst to look for. I think we are going to have also CPI next week in the UK. So again, maybe the combination of those two catalysts one day after the other may help that move to happen. We will see in there. Dollar franc Swiss, yeah, more of the same. Nothing really much. Again, just in alignment with the dollar index, euro dollar, and so on. Just in the range again. Intraday, 100%. You could have looked for trades. Price actually respected still this level, so I wouldn't mind maybe to see price breaking to the upside first, maybe moving down. That will provide a bit more of a bullish bias, and then maybe you could look for longs somewhere around these lows. We'll see. We'll see what may happen. Again, not the update on the many of these dollar currency pairs is not really nothing new in here. Gold, okay, gold, it's an interesting one. There's an update at least on gold. Okay, we basically filled the target. We reached the lower edge of this level as we kind of reacted a bit from that level. Now we actually managed to break it. I'm going to be looking at this one maybe as an engulf to the downside in here, which maybe opens the door for price to continue this downward movement after this correction that we have in here. Again, this level reacted from a perfect zone in there, and maybe you want to fill all this range at this point. But that's what I will be looking for on gold. A bit more in the medium term, in the smaller time frame. I'm actually maybe looking for those longs. Okay, I'm looking for price to actually feel maybe a bit more closer to here before maybe moving down. So again, that's what I'll be looking. This may be a good correction already. Price respected this level. So where I'll be looking for potential shells, definitely this was the test of this high was one of them. Then there's maybe something in here, and then I'll be looking for price to get which way at the extreme. That could be also a great zone to look for that big sell. If price does want to continue to move to downside, but now it respects this level in here, then that's a different story than if price does want to come here. Okay, that becomes a different story. Then we may have actually an engulf upwards before making a move down in there. But usually these retracements and price reacting from this level tends to happen in the moment, not so much in the future. Okay, what I mean is, yes, when you do manage to fake out a low, either this one or the other one that we just did on the left side, this one, price does tend to kind of go upwards, respect it, and then make already this correction. Okay, that makes it a bit more bullish in the moment. If price doesn't really respect this level after it breaks it, okay, it doesn't react from here, it kind of becomes a bit more stronger engulf down, which opens the possibility, and the odds are much higher than price eventually is going to actually retest towards here at least, and then eventually actually manage to break to the downside. So yeah, that's good. It's good that price hasn't really reacted from here after breaking it, which is still going to be attracted for price to get closer to that zone one more time. So yeah, looking for sales as price continues to go higher can be an interesting possibility in here on gold. So yeah, that's a bit of what to be looking for as price continues to move hopefully a bit higher to look for that sell. Oil, again, oil is another one that we may be trading within this range between 67 to maybe 78, and maybe between this $11-12 range. Without the situation in the Middle East, Red Sea, and so on, with the US and UK being involved now as well, we'll see. Every single demand is being respected. Price just respected now the other extreme in here. We still have this level, which is fresh. We still have maybe an extreme in here that is still fresh. We have definitely now this demand zone is still fresh. Maybe the supply is still fresh. So as long as we can continue to have new levels being fresh while they're being created, we may get stuck within this range. In the bigger picture, if I was about to look for more of a swing position, maybe just because again the reaction from here it was really good, maybe that could happen. Again, maybe breaking this trend line can be a good clue. Maybe breaking this high one more time could be a good clue to look for that bigger move to the upside. But meanwhile, we may get stuck in here, just similar exactly this range that we have, which lasts from, I don't know, let's look at it, basically May until when did we manage to break away from here? Kind of July. Like it basically took 2 months within this range. Which is basically around the same structure that we have, okay, this 66, 67, all the way to, yeah, maybe 75, in this case it's going to be slightly higher, but yeah, we may spend another 2 months in here. This one basically started in December, so yeah, may take us until February, who knows, but it's not new to look at these kind of ranges being created in oil before maybe price finally starts trending into one direction or another, either bullish or bearish. So we need to have that in mind, especially in terms of managing our own expectations when looking for targets. Okay, so that matters in here. Okay, even if by any chance you do miss the first big move upwards because maybe you close the target a bit earlier than that, it's okay. Then when the price does finally have maybe that impulse, then maybe you can look for a retracement, whatever it may be, and then there's a high probability then price may follow that initial impulse, if again after maybe some retracement to eventually catch maybe more of the move. It's okay. It's better than always trying to look for the home run and you kept being kind of stopped out at break even, whatever it may be, just because you are managing your expectations incorrectly based on actually what price is doing in this specific moment. Now let's take a look at BTC. Okay, BTC, what do you see, man? what are the key levels that you're looking for in the bigger, and first and foremost, are you looking more of higher time frame, lower time frame? What time frames are you looking for when looking at Bitcoin? David, yeah, that's great. So what targets are you looking for? Like in this particular case, if you think that price may correct a little bit more, question number one, are you already kind of turning bearish? What would be the level that you like to see being broken to turn maybe bearish? Or in this case, what level needs to be respected for you to continue to be kind of bullish in the medium term? And if price wants to go a bit more to the downside in the medium term or shorter time frame, maybe for a week or so, where would you be looking to go long, or where do you think that price may go long after having some kind of correction in there? And then if it goes long, where to be then the final target, or kind of what kind of target you'll be looking for in there as well. Like those basically those 3-4 questions. Yeah, 44. 1 second. $44,700. Looking for something in here. So what do you want to happen in here? Do you want price to get to kind of 44,700? 38. All right, so we're looking they're looking for this. Did I draw this something correctly? Is it more something like this that you're looking for? I do like the 38 that you mentioned. Definitely price does break below this level. That's the immediate. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. If price does break below this level, the first immediate zone to be filled is definitely this one. So getting to 38 is going to be a really important zone to pay attention to see if it holds, and which you create some kind of PA around this level to kind of break it and come back into this structure. So if that happens, yeah, even if you don't buy straight away the 38, unless maybe there's some PA in the lower time frame in here, looking at price breaking into this level again, maybe even trying to get long at around this 40k again after the confirmation, even to fill then this level, can be an interesting approach to look for the trade. Again, this kind of level needs to hold. I do like it in the bigger time frame as well. I do like it because it's still kind of in alignment with this range. It's definitely an important structure in here. So that's definitely okay. First and foremost, yeah, that needs to be, for that to happen, this lows needs to be broken. When we did have this big spike down a couple of weeks ago, I didn't turn bearish. I actually mentioned as long as these lows kept holding price, I don't really turn bearish. I'm still actually expecting then for price to create new highs. So that's basically the range that I have, is this rectangle, and as long as this keeps holding, maybe more bullishness in here. If this starts to be to break to downside, then we are getting into an interesting dynamic, which we have finally lows being broken, and we haven't had lows being broken on Bitcoin for a long period of time. Okay, the last lows that were broken was here. Since then, we haven't really managed to break. Okay, maybe in here, but this was which was just a retest, so that I don't really count that as lows being broken. Then we managed to respect the lows in here, and then we managed to respect basically every single thing in here, and we managed to respect every single one of them in here. So in terms of lows being broken, we haven't really had any clear low being broken for quite a long time. Basically, since March last year, we had a few of bearish moves, but respecting the lows, respecting the level, and then just continued this bullish move. Now, looking at the higher time frame, this makes totally sense. If I was about to draw a rectangle in here of a zone that I would like to see being filled, covering these highs. Let's make it, come on, move to the right side. Okay, moving from this high to this low, it would make complete sense, and then we would fill this level. Okay, so basically after we broke that level, breaking here, it would make sense. Maybe first paying attention, of course, to this structure. After we break that level, maybe paying attention a little bit of this structure, and then is this extreme. Okay, so basically 3 levels in here that basically would caught my attention. This was kind of respected a little bit. This was respected slightly, but not really. The move to downside that was maybe intentional, which actually can be a really good level to then look for a long, since this level in here didn't really manage to hold price down as it should be in theory. It can actually now hold price up, kind of do the opposite. Okay, so that's good. In there, it again goes in alignment with that 38 that you just mentioned in there as well. Now the break of this high, this actually may be an engulf to the upside. Okay, breaking this range, breaking this level, this may actually look like an engulf to the upside in here, which is interesting. 1 second. Okay. So, but that's more medium term now. Okay, price actually can have a bit of a correction in here before actually falling, or before actually now starting to go back up again. Bigger picture, just in terms of the range, this one for me is already kind of an engulf upwards, so I would actually prefer to see price eventually continue to move higher and getting a bit more closer to this structure instead of just pausing in here. But as I mentioned already in the beginning of the stream, and what I mentioned with the guys also, is that Bitcoin in here reacted from a perfect level. It was a really good level in the lower time frame. Okay, go. Because we had this double top in here, and that's actually a level that you want to always pay attention to. It's the zone above that double top. As you can see, we had this clear supply that managed to push price down, break this structure, and we never had the reaction or kind of the retest towards that level. Not even with this high, not even with that high, neither, which makes it a really good level to then anticipate or look for a reaction in here at around this 49 something in there. Okay, so the supply level is literally this level. Price broke it, there was no reaction from it, so in the lower time frame it's a really good level. In the bigger time frame also, because it just fake out a daily high or weekly high, which makes it a really good level. If you just look for this type of opportunities, you are going to see great reactions from those levels, faking out daily or weekly highs into a really lower time frame zone that is still fresh. It's just perfect in there. So again, the analysis that I just did is just to confirm this is a good level. On the other side, bigger picture, it is an engulf to the upside because it just broke this high. I'm looking for BTC to move upwards in the future. Now that 38 in the lower time, kind of on the daily time frame, it looks really good. It starts to look really good in here. Now I'm going to look maybe into this lower time frame in here to try to see where maybe are actually the orders left at around this structure. Okay, and maybe can actually go left to see within this all this zone in here. So we had the demand zone in there. Okay, that's really good at around reaching the 38. Maybe you have this supply. Just need to look at the levels also that should have actually respected price, and maybe price completely ignore them, which can actually work as a level in there. And if they have been already touched or not, then on the right side as price was moving in here. Okay, so again, this is still the demand zone. We can actually look at to see price moving upwards, maybe a little bit of that level. There's literally the supply level in there, and then we may have a little bit of this structure, which may not really be that important as well. And then we have this other extreme. It's basically where a new range starts. Okay, we broke these lows, price went down, retested, and start a new cycle from here, creating all this big up in there. So that's just something to pay attention to as well. It can perhaps affect price on the other side. Now, how we can see like this, like we can actually see now how many times or where if price actually after breaking it first, if there was any reaction from here on the approach, and then when it broke it, if it touched the level again. And that's actually kind of a good exercise that you can do together in here. So those were the 4 levels. Okay, so one of them kind of in there reacted from, This one was already reacted from here. And then the other one kind of got really close one more time, and then this one kind of was broken. So even before maybe price getting to this 38 that you're looking for, there's maybe something in here at around this 39,500 that can still work. Okay, so there's maybe something at around, was it this one? So we may have this level that can actually work without the need for price to go maybe to the 38 at this point. Maybe price can just literally fake out these lows, maybe react from here and start moving upwards, because this demand zone hasn't really been touched yet, and we have all these lows being accumulated. So you can imagine that if anyone is looking for longs again from this level, they stop loss maybe somewhere in here. Maybe not all the way to 38, maybe that's already too wide of a stop loss. Maybe not many people are going to be trading with shades of wide stop losses, maybe just closer by. So that's something that we need to also consider when looking for liquidity. How far away do you think that the stop loss are going to be placed when price fake outs lows, at least for the initial reaction? And price may then just continues and finally gets to 38, but just as an initial reaction, maybe that can be the first level for price to bounce from when you do take those lows in here. Then the 38 actually may have been touched in here on the way up. We broke it, reacted, and we went upwards from there. In here, this level again, kind of that was one of those that was reacted, so now it takes us a bit more, maybe somewhere in here to look for. Yeah, that may be something to consider. What I don't like really too much about this level is the way price already compressed every single thing. So as soon as we maybe break literally the upper edge of this range, okay, as soon as we kind of, especially kind of break kind of this level, the likelihood is for price to almost fill this level. Okay, so we can quite quickly go from 38 to 33. Okay, without any, like, not being surprised about it. Okay, because everything in here has been compressed as maybe this level, then again somewhere in here, something in here kind of needs to hold price. If price doesn't hold in here, we are quite quickly just go towards this level, and then we are looking for price to get more into this range, and all of a sudden we are at 30k. Okay, but that's just something to bear in mind as well, is if doesn't really hold in here, again there's maybe high probability that price may just respect this level or kind of fake out this level and come back into this range. And what we'd like to see happening like that is something again, maybe in here. Again, this one was quite quick, which who knows what happened in there, right? Yeah, so who knows if what kind of orders are still in there. But if this, again, as a bullish scenario, from somewhere in here, you would like to see maybe price respecting a bit more time, then eventually whatever structure is going to be created in here, eventually you want to see this structure being broken to the upside once again. Okay, so whatever structure is going to be created, maybe respect a little bit this high straight away as a trend continuation, maybe have that reaction from here, maybe from there, correct a little bit, and then eventually you want to see maybe a double top. Yeah, maybe a double top could be nice, being created, not top, sorry, bottom, and then maybe have that touch all the way to 38. Like in this scenario that you want to see the 38 being respected. Being respected, that could be the scenario. But what you want to look at is literally this range, whatever range is going to be created at around the time that we break these levels. You want to see that one being broken up again into this range, and then you may look for that long again in there, because otherwise literally everything in here is going to be quite quickly faked out. So this demand zone is already reacted from this level, so that's taken as well, right? And this is the range, this is the danger kind of when you do have a compression to the upside and everything has been spiked already. Then again, it's quite easy for price to just move down. Okay, it's very kind of similar to basically what you have in here. Quite easy for price to just move down, or the opposite. Like if the compression is to the upside, then it's quite easy for price to just move upwards. in there. So yeah, that would be just something to bear in mind. If by any chance you are still looking for shorts, and maybe you can aim for shorts until price gets maybe closer to this extreme. Yeah, maybe that level you mentioned, kind of 44,700. Yeah, maybe somewhere in there could be interesting. And what else? Something in there can be also interesting. Price just respected this high, never really reacted from the other one. Okay, something in here, price maybe already reacted from it, broke, respected it, so that could have been a great short opportunity as a trend continuation. After price broke this level, moved down, respected the extreme in here. So that could have been interesting. So somewhere in here could also work a little bit as a sell opportunity, 45,500. And then you mentioned 44,700, which kind of bring us back into this level. Not really sure if there's anything in there that stands out to me. Actually, maybe this level. This level can still work as well. But all of a sudden I'll be looking for price to perhaps go sideways into somewhere in here. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, that would be something to look at. Yeah, and then again at the highs, 1 second, whenever we investigate the highs in here. So what do we have? So that was the first break in there. We had definitely this level that price already respected. Okay, we may have literally the extreme of the extreme. That would be the scenario in there. And just draw this one like this. We have also the base of this level. It's basically the one that created all this move upwards. These levels in here, they can respect, our price can respect those levels quite nicely. And we have also this alignment of this left shoulder in there. So somewhere in here after the break can also hold price down, depending on the approach. And it's nice that we also have already a little bit of a high in here to eventually fake out in the future. Okay, towards that level, but again, this level here at the highs, it's still quite fresh. Price can just compress all of this, to be honest. Takes a bit more into here, into there. Yeah, in case price does want to go higher. Yeah, that's basically it, to be honest. Yeah, I do like this level still. That level, maybe that level. That's it. Now, who knows what's going to happen in between this range, right? So it's just a big spike in there. Yeah, that was Bitcoin, literally. This level here can maybe hold price down. This was a level of demand that price didn't really respected. It can demand respecting there in here. So this can maybe continue to push price slightly lower at around this structure. Okay, price can maybe just come back in here and just kind of resume the move down. Not really coming all the way back in here, just kind of staying within somewhere in there. Yeah, that's basically what we have in here. Any comments? Did like anything that you agree, disagree, that you like, that you are looking for? For example, this level in here, 31 something, can be also quite interesting. If prices want to then fill everything in here, it could go. It could go, because there's literally kind of a space between that break that we had from here in there, but maybe that's too much of a move down. No, not you. Yeah, actually you have this one in here. It's actually where this needs to go towards to, which may have already been respected, to be honest. Right. Yeah, Ethereum, we can look at Ethereum as well. Ethereum was another one that we'll be looking for price to go slightly higher. Again, we mentioned this. Oh, hold on a second. This was actually a bigger move than the the info from TradingView is quite different. Either way, it still respected great demand zone, but I think on TradingView actually respected this one, and in here it respected this one. Whatever. Still a good demand zone regardless. And we're looking for price to get closer to this structure. To be honest, in here, that's kind of what we were looking for. Yeah, somewhere in here, and may still go a little bit higher. Kind of price pause a little bit more in the middle, so it could kind of still navigate a bit more closer into this level. Yeah, a bit maybe more bullish on that one comparing with BTC. BTC, I'm kind of okay where price reacted from at this point. Yeah, kind of much rather prefer to see it going a bit more into there. DPI to the reversal, it was again quite good. Again, kind of created that range and the fake out again. This is what I mentioned before. Also, when we talk about gold, yeah, the reaction perfectly to this left shoulder, right? It's perfect reaction to look for the entry, and then kind of have this range in here. Basically, price kind of is reacting. At this point, the range, yeah, just normal reaction from this previous level support resistance that can work nicely, and you have maybe this level. What we have in here with this big spike, opposite to the dollar, opposite to BTC, right, is that we actually had a break, kind of a break of a lows in here. Like we were talking before, that BTC hasn't really managed to break any specific lows. Ethereum just did it with that big spike down at the beginning of the year. Now it was a great reaction from this demand zone, great reaction for a continuation. This was actually quite nice, and it's another type of price action that you'll see, which is price breaking highs and then eventually needs to fake out the lows to create more liquidity to then push one more time, but it starts to break that break of a low. While at the moment it's a great bullish signal, in the medium long term maybe start seeing as a bit of a weak signal in there, which price individual can go slightly lower. Yeah, bigger picture, maybe, yeah, I wouldn't mind to see price going slightly higher in here. To be honest, we'll see how price may react from this level and then from these lows again in there. So yeah, that's just something. Again, if you look at Ethereum BTC, that was a good move. Okay, so we're looking at Ethereum and Bitcoin, great fake out. Okay, so even to anticipate this stronger move on Ethereum comparing with BTC, we had finally the break of this low that we have been looking for. We had all these lows in here also to fake out. We also had this strong move upwards before the move down, right? Again, this is a typical PI. We start giving that bullish sign, and then you have just the final fake out of this level, and becomes a really strong bearish move, and then the next target it will be definitely just to look for here. Okay, and this is what we're looking for. So that's the initial good reaction so far. Again, bigger picture, this is maybe just an engulf to the downside because it did manage to break below this low. Maybe there's a little bit more room in here to look to the downside, but now in the immediate kind of short time frame or kind of short and medium time frame, we may actually look for a correction first before maybe price before this Ethereum Bitcoin resumes the move down in here. And then we have also Solana, something that we also pay attention to. Solana, I'm kind of a bit more bearish in here. Again, after that strong move, the reaction at the highs is really good. At this 126 mark, okay, this level, it was quite good. Also in alignment with this previous structure that basically kind of created this last all-time high. It's kind of, this is the move that started. So again, any kind of reaction from that level in the future can be quite interesting, and you have with this level in there. And then in the lower time frame, also similar to BTC, like what we mentioned in terms of breaking lows, Solana hasn't really managed to break any low during this rally. Okay, since we started to move to the upside in the middle of September, we haven't really managed to break any low. Anytime price was kind of retracing, it was just always respecting the lows, which is something to bear in mind. Like especially if you are looking for any kind of reversals, it challenged this low, it respected it, and it kept respecting kind of those lows, kind of respecting these lows, kind of respecting this low, and it keeps on going until we finally have the first proper break in here, which opens the door now for price to get into here, right? And that's basically the range that we are looking for at this point in this medium term, kind of shorter time frame, medium term, like for the next 1 week or so, for price to get closer to this level, which maybe, again, maybe fake out already this level, maybe come towards here, is 69. And all of a sudden, just similar to BTC, again, this, yeah, maybe this level is still fresh, but all of a sudden you can start having a lot of compression, and all of a sudden we go all the way towards here, in here. But again, these levels in here are still the most important part for me at this point. This can hold price up in there. But if it starts breaking below that, then you start opening door to go maybe go towards 50. And all of a sudden you have a crazy volatile market. It goes from 126 to maybe 70 or 60, and then come back maybe to 126 in here. 3 levels or 2 levels that we were looking for potential shorts. Okay, so retest of these highs. Again, we didn't really manage to break this low, so that isn't really kind of a bit of a concern. Even though for me this is kind of a clear move downwards, which price wanted to go closer to this level. Yeah, so we'll see in there. Again, still eventually expecting price to move down. We have in here and you have in here. Those are basically the levels I'll be looking for. Again, potential shorts. Now we have this level that's just fake out. This is a new creation in there. Price action maybe didn't react from it, and then you have maybe this level in here as well to look for. So yeah, that's Solana for us, and we'll see whenever price gets close to this level if we're going to move upwards or just continue to move forward. And that's what we have. Eventually, bigger picture without this ETF situation. Bullish long term, but we may have this correction for the next couple of weeks until price again gets into an interesting level for maybe these institutions to be part of, and to start getting bullish and position themselves as bullish into the crypto. Yeah, so that's a little bit of what we have in here. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Yeah, it's still the same story in here. All right, thank you guys. Yeah, that basically finished with the weekly market analysis to see what may happen. Again, key points to look at for next week: the dollar needs to starts to break and to move into one or the other direction. As I mentioned, kind of this was a little bit of the prediction in the beginning of the week, which may still plays out. Price has been just in this range, and when you do move away from this level, it may start a little bit of a new cycle in here, which again can help all the other major FX pairs to move, which they have been a bit in the range. The pound pair is going to be quite interesting to see if we do have that move to the downside or not. So those are something to pay attention to, which is the opposite on euro pound, maybe move to the upside throughout this week. What else do we have? A gold may continue to go slightly higher, eventually to move down. The indices, we have earnings seasons now, and we are really close again to those highs, and S&P to potentially break new all-time highs. It's going to be something to pay attention to. The pressure may be in that direction to first break the all-time highs before any turn. Okay, shorter time frame, maybe there's chances to look for sales. but always be careful with that situation. The pressure to maybe get to all-time highs. The end pairs, maybe there's a continuation to go lower. Again, this was kind of a good reaction from the base of this level, fake out all these lows. So I'm curious to see how price may react from around this structure, especially somewhere in here at the highs can be a good continuation to the downside in here. And that's basically it. And crypto, yeah, if we do start breaking some lows, maybe have something, or are going to just continue to move upwards. We'll see. Yeah, those are just a few things to pay attention for next week. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. If you are new, yeah, subscribe to the channel and feel free to recommend any new topics to cover. And yes, beginning of February, I'm going to start sharing more videos with all of you, not just live streams like I'm doing at this point. Thank you. Enjoy the weekend. Have a good one. Bye bye. Thank you very much.